Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Boldly Going. As I, Merlin, sometimes known as Joe, and I got the Film Fanatics here with me. I got Dan there.
Hello.
Justin over here.
Howdy.
Today we're going back to Next Gen, and we're talking about an early Wesley episode. What's it called again?
It's called Coming of Age.
Coming of Age, which is,
How fitting.
as you can guess, is kind of the type of story it's going to be going for. Now, I really wanted Justin to lead this, but he'll have plenty to say, I'm sure. But
No doubt.
He literally said no.
I offered it to him like so. It's like, no, I'm not
You
doing it.
can't give me
So
a
that's
Wesley-centric episode, Joe. Come on.
It's funny, though, because we lead things, to do a synopsis and start, but you're getting to talking about it anyway. So it's like, it's a courtesy thing.
I will, but I think it's important that we have an unbiased opinion.
But Dan loves that stuff. It's not
Thank you. My opinion is unbiased. You are correct.
At least for the synopsis.
In this episode, well, everybody's opinion is unbiased in a synopsis. You're not reviewing anything
unless
yet.
they lie about it, I guess.
Some might have a spin on it,
That's
but
true.
In this episode,
do go on.
Tell me.
so Wesley is about to take the test to enter into Starfleet Academy along with a few other people that are new to us. While the senior staff of the ship is being interviewed and investigated because there is worry from Starfleet that there's some sort of unknown force that has infiltrated Starfleet, and they're making sure Picard and the crew can be trusted.
Oh, yes.
So this episode has some good things about it and some not so good things about it.
I think I know where this is going to go.
Which would you like to hear first, Joe?
I want to hear about the Starfleet officers, the non-Wesley stuff. That's what I want to hear about.
Okay. Well, that part was sort of good.
Right?
I liked that Riker, stood up to the guy and said, like, look, if you have questions about Picard's log, you talk to Picard. Like,
Yes.
I don't know anything about this. That was good. But then, like, he stood down immediately, and the guy was like, yo, I'm here to investigate, so you're going to answer my questions. Okay, so what do you want to know? Like it was like...
It's like, I'm not going to cave in.
I was like,
I'm caving in.
Riker, do it. And then he's like, wilting flower. I'm like, all right, well, that was disappointing.
He faked you out a little bit.
Yeah, faked it out. And then something kind of similar happened with Troy, but not quite as forceful as Riker's, standing up. So I thought that part was interesting. I think Picard and the dude, the investigator, there was some good back and forth there. I thought it was kind of interesting to see Starfleet, get in there and mix it up.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, somebody takes a ship out, and so there's a big hubbub about that. Why wasn't the ship guarded better? And so...
Red tape.
Sort of embarrassing that, that happened while the guy's investigating them. It's sort of like when your district manager shows up on the day you forget your shoes, your proper work shoes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, it's sort of unfortunate that happened on Picard's watch while he was there. But the thing I really didn't like, in addition to that, is that it doesn't dovetail at all with the Wesley story.
No.
It's two completely opposite stories. Mm-hmm. Well, not opposite, but just separate.
Yeah.
Where we... Usually there's some sort of connection.
Even like a little one.
This didn't even have a threadbare connection. So that was annoying. Then the Wesley stuff, I kind of liked. The acting isn't great. The one girl that's in there with him, she couldn't act her way out of a paper bag. I mean, she was awful. And then the guy, what's his name, Murdoch or something?
Yeah.
With the,
Yep.
I
Some
don't know
of the worst Star Trek makeup.
Well,
the same thing.
It was barely makeup. It was like a mask almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I kind of liked that character. I liked his interaction with Wesley a lot.
Okay.
Wesley putting one out there to kind of help him with one part of the test that sooner or later sort of bites him in the behind. Mm-hmm. But it's showing that Wesley's a good person and trying his best to really impress the Starfleet people. Well, I don't care. He hates Wesley. It's fine. I mean,
We know you don't care, but anyways.
you're already predetermined to hate him because it's a Wesley episode. So it's like, it's fine. You don't like him, and okay. I don't mind him. So for me, I liked that he was being a nice person. I'm interested to hear you say how he's a horrible person.
That'd
for
be
helping.
interesting, for sure.
But I thought him and Worf had a really great scene together.
That's rare.
And I thought him and Picard had a great scene at the end.
Yeah.
So for those reasons, it's definitely a positive.
Okay.
But it has its flaws. It's a B- for me.
All right, I can live with that. But Justin,
Can't wait.
This is what I really want to hear.
Oh, Wesley takes the SATs the episode.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Basically.
I feel
Starfleet
like
SATs.
this episode at its best would have probably been hour-long equivalent of Ender's Game.
Yeah.
But how does it play out as a whole? There's the main Enterprise story. Some things work, quite a bit doesn't. The diplomatic side, like the power changes, I thought were interesting. I think, though I completely agree with you, everybody goes way, way, way out of character.
Yeah.
In ridiculous ways too. Picard's diplomacy that we've seen apparent in more than a handful of episodes, and in several instances actually saved the episode, is completely absent here.
Just cave into Starfleet Upper Command. Just can't.
Now, as far as Wesley goes, when I realized this was going to be a really Wesley heavy episode, I did my signature cringing because Wesley is Mary Sue meets Deus Ex Machina.
And badly dressed.
And very, very badly dressed, but hey.
I don't like his shirt.
The rainbow sweater's
I
gotta
have
go.
to admit that.
No, that's
Hey,
gotta die a slow, painful death.
What's the 80s? People like tie-dye.
Don't care.
It doesn't take place in the 80s.
It doesn't.
It does, and it does in spirit, though.
All
It's
right.
what the 80s would continue into the future.
Very good.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm going to give it a little bit of points.
Oh.
For the first time, we've actually seen Wesley be flawed, which I have not. I've only really seen like
He
once.
almost got them killed that one time he stepped on the grass. That's pretty flaw.
'Cause he was
Yes, and
dumb.
then began, and then then came the whole era of him mouthing off to Picard, and Picard being sort of like, "Oh, I don't mind."
I mean, mouthing off is a
Banging the
flaw.
mom, I mean.
Yes.
Sometimes you put up with that.
Sometimes there's a point where the line is crossed.
I mean, just
but-
remember, he was put on the bridge for a reason. He's got some slack with Picard. For clear reasons. 2 reasons.
Yes. Oh dear.
PG on Boldly Going.
Yeah, true.
PG.
The misogyny is over 9,000, but
No. Go ahead.
but I do like the fact that they're wrestling with ethical dilemmas. How would you handle things on the ship as an officer? And I think that's actually kind of pertinent. I think it was done better in later aspects of science fiction, which is why I made the Ender's Game comparison. But I like the fact that they have finally tried to start playing more with the whole, guess what? Wesley doesn't know everything. Wesley is, in fact, actually a kid, not Doogie Howser in space. But the acting is really, really bad in those segments, and as I mentioned, the makeup is horrifying. Like, makes TOS at times look good, horrifying.
Well, look, Star Trek's budget has always been part of its charm.
It has, but that mask was bad. Like, you can tell they were trying to make that more of a prosthetic, and it looked like a bad Halloween mask
was
they
bad.
painted
Look,
over.
honestly, when I get really good makeup and effects in Star Trek, I consider it a bonus. to be honest, it's nice. Hey,
You can have your cake and eat it too, though.
you guys won't believe this, but later on in Voyager, you find some creatures that have great makeup.
Well,
Yeah,
that was the 4th series. They probably
Yeah, I
have
was
a
gonna
pretty
say.
decent
It was
budget
like
by that.
by that
Association.
point, late
Yeah.
season. Maybe some like big awesome CGI in the last season in 2001.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, as a whole, I like what this episode is trying to do, and it really does have its moments at times, but it's another kind of middling and mediocre TNG episode for season 1. It's a C.
Wow.
Okay, but Wesley was being nice and helping that guy, when he was struggling.
Yes, that's one of the shining moments.
Okay, but you didn't say it. All you said was he's flawed, finally. Finally, Wesley's flawed. You never once said, yes, he was nice.
Wrestling with ethical dilemmas is part of that scene, Dan. Let's pay
There is
attention.
good on the other side of an ethical dilemma. That's why it's a dilemma. It's true. But I think it's funny. I actually think I like this episode more than you guys. Yeah, I remember this one pretty fondly because I actually did find the investigation interesting. And it's funny, we get to see some of the other members of the Enterprise crew kind of a little off their game because of the situation. And I think that is kind of understandable. And even though I will admit a lot of the acting from Wesley's cohorts are very bad, I liked the Wesley story.
Bad.
I did like the Wesley story, though. I liked his dilemma. I liked some of his interactions with the other characters. I didn't mind Wesley in this episode. I thought they explored some interesting themes there. You're right. The stories really are completely separate, which is unusual.
Very weird.
For Star Trek, but it didn't really bother me too much, that one, because I actually felt relatively entertained the whole time through it, and for the early Wesley episodes, for me, that's unusual. I don't know. I'm actually okay with Wesley. Like, I don't really love him or hate him. I've always kind of been in between about it. I think he's okay. Mm-hmm. But I do admit that a lot of his stories are kind of weak when it's focused on him. But this time I think they at least were trying to do something more interesting with him. So, I mean, for me, this one's a B.
Ooh.
I think it's pretty decent.
Okay.
I like this one. But yeah, that's it, guys. We're going to be talking about DS9 next time. We're going into some Bajoran, Cardassian politics again. Getting tired of it, Dan? Getting tired of it? Well,
the last
you were
couple
giving me crap for it.
The last couple DS9s have not been great.
Well, look. Eventually, I think
I'll circle around, I guess.
Well, you'll get some more interesting villains later. You got to get through the first couple seasons. But there's usually some good stuff over there. And let us know what you thought about this one, though. Is it a good episode, a bad one for Next Gen? And I know that season 1's ending soon. We're at the very end, getting there.
It's actually 25 episodes, so there's still like 7 or 8 to go.
No.
It's a long one.
See, yeah. I could have sworn that we had to have been getting there, but we'll get through it.
So close.
We'll get through it. I do remember the last episode of the season's bad, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Well, that'd be par for the course for
Can't
season 1,
wait.
so...
Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye. You guys say goodbye.
Yep, see ya.
Till the next time.